Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Kristin Hildabrand, Warren County Extension Agent for Horticulture. Good morning, Kristin.
Good morning, Joanna.
Now, Kristin, the other day we talked about hydrangeas and the different types of hydrangeas. But I think a lot of people love them, love the bloom on them, love the foliage. But then they get them home, and there is a little bit of care that kind of goes into them, and you're going to tell us a little bit about that today.
Yes, it's really important to know your type of hydrangea. So if you missed yesterday's segment, you want to check that out where we talk about the different types. But it's very, very important to know that type and if it flowers on old versus new wood. So a lot of times we get questions about when to prune, and if you know the type that you have, and if it does bloom on new or old wood, then that will make that decision process just so much easier for you. So we talked about, this is a type of smooth hydrangea that we have in front of us today. It's an Annabelle, so it does flower on new wood. So new wood means the current season's wood, and so you want to be careful and make sure that you do that. Generally, for the smooth hydrangea, you want to prune that back by early March here in Kentucky. So you want to make sure that your pruning blades are pretty sharp whenever you do that, so that way that you've got plenty of clean cuts, so that way you don't damage any of those blooms for that current season's growth. Now, Oakleaf hydrangea, that's the one that's got the beautiful oak leaf to it. It is really, you don't have to prune it as much, and it flowers on old wood. So the wood that it's set from the season before, that's what you don't want to mess that up, right? So if you do end up, you want to immediately do it after it flowers, and generally it'll flower for us anywhere from late June into July, sometimes even August. It just depends. But there is some actual moisture that needs to be kept in the soil for it to bloom pretty regularly throughout the summer months here in Kentucky. So if you keep a nice mulch around the base of it, it could probably lengthen out throughout the summer season. And then with the bigleaf hydrangea, that's the one that you can change the color on. Remember, we said the low acidity in the soil will give you a blue bloom, and then if it's a high pH where it's above a 5.5, then it'll give you that pink bloom. So that one has both old and new wood. So, and sometimes it's even damaged by a lot of winter type weather, and so sometimes you probably want to look at it a little closer in the spring and then evaluate it at that time. So if you want to, you can remove those dead actual stems, and really it's easy to see, probably easier for me to see in the springtime when I'm evaluating that, because you can see the old growth from the new growth, because new growth is going to be that green color and then the old growth is going to be pretty brown. So you can actually remove that. With that big leaf type, you can reduce it down as far as your size goes. Usually you only want to take about 1/3 of the older branches off to the base, usually in early spring. So that's the best time to do for that. And for the newer varieties, for the panicle, like limelights and little lime and some of those, you don't really necessarily have to prune those unless you just want to kind of tidy it up, make it look a little bit neater in appearance. Again, we talked about that you can train that one into a tree form, and if you do decide to do that, you want to get one probably that's been trained like that early at the nursery, and then that way you can provide the supports for it to get it into that tree form, because again, they can get 20 feet.
And Kristin, let me ask, you mentioned pruning for shaping.
Yes.
And then pruning maybe just to kind of clean it up, tidy it up a little bit. Is that for airflow and disease management, or is that just for looks?
Yes. So it's really good, like you said, to maximize sunlight potential whenever you're doing the pruning. That's one of the reasons we do want to prune, and then also for the airflow of it to help with disease management. So those are all good things why we would want to prune. So if you have any questions about the pruning, you can give us a call at the extension office and we kind of walk you through that. One other thing I do want to mention is that hydrangea stands for water, and then angion stands for the vessel. So it really does take a lot of water. So you'll have to make sure that you provide that, especially early on in its establishment.
All right. Well, Kristin, thanks for the information. Everybody's going to have beautiful hydrangeas if you just follow these simple tips. But if you have questions, make sure to contact your local extension office. Thanks for watching and have a great day.